Hey everybody, video here for you today. Maybe a few, who knows. Need to get outside for a while though today, but we're going down to Louisiana today. This is Madison Parish. This is the Raffman Site, Pyramid Mound Site, right here along the Tensa River, all covered up by trees. There seems to be a lot of farmland around here, and then the one archaeological spot covered up by trees, no road, no street view. Just kind of lost history down here. This is the site today where it lies. Right down here is where the mounds are. Little plaza, city. Here's a drawing of the mounds here. And there's been just a little bit of work, excavation work done on these over the last 50, 60 years or so. Probably still a lot to be learned, but a large pyramid mound. And this obviously had four sides from the one drawing. Mounds of different shape and size forming the plaza here. It says here the Raffman Site is an archaeological site located in Madison Parish, Louisiana, and was constructed between 700 and 1200 of the current era. 500-year window, I think we can do better than that. It has components from the Tefunkte culture and the Coles Creek culture, whose main period of occupation was during the Balmoral phase, between 1000 and 1100 of the current era of the Tensaw Basin and Natchez Bluffs chronology, and which was virtually deserted by the end of the Preston phase, which ended about 800 years ago. So that is the general information on the site, and a lot of these sites down here attached to the Coles Creek culture, and these sites that there is nothing really here, they're just kind of covered up. You get this just general information, not much to go on here. Here is a contour map of the site. You really get a good idea of the mounds here. And Mound A down here, that has an interesting shape to it. How far back does this go? Does this go earlier than what they are stating here? It says testing of the site revealed early woodland period deposits from the Tefunkte period around 2600 years ago, underlying the Coles Creek period, which is started around 1300 years ago. So there definitely seems to be an earlier period of history here, and people have probably been here for a long, long time. It says the site was first noted by archaeologist Philip Phillips in 1954. A trio of people was here in 1981. They mapped the site, did a few minor shovel tests at the site here. And then in 2004, I believe it says, Tristan Kidder and Laurie Rowe did research here. And then a university did some research here later on that I will talk about here just a bit. A description of the site, it says the site is quite large with 9 platform mounds arranged around a central plaza. Mounds A, B, C, D, and G closely surround the plaza. Mounds H and I are located adjacent to Mound A, just southeast of the plaza. And it says Mound A is the largest at the site, almost 40 feet high, and it measures 246 feet by 330 feet at its base. I didn't think I was going to find much written on this site because research here has been pretty sporadic over the last 60 years. But I did find this, geoarchaeology at the Raffman Mound Center, Madison Parish, Louisiana, done by Indiana University of Pennsylvania, IUP. One of the things they did here is they spent the summer of 2012 sampling mound and plaza sediments to investigate mound construction and possible flood deposits that may have prompted residents to abandon the site. Here's a look at some of their excavation work, but they theorize that these mound centers, there wasn't any real homes or a residential area, so people were gathering here for ceremonial and ritual purposes. And I know people love to hear that, kind of a generalization of what these places represented. Here's one of the few looks at the site we get. It looks like a small bone artifact maybe right here, and then kind of a cross-section of the site here, maybe in a trench where different levels of artifacts were found here or periods of habitation. It says preliminary interpretation of geological samples from Mound B suggests that the mound was constructed rapidly and continuously using a combination of locally available silty river sediments and wetland clay deposits, a mix that may have been intentionally designed to maximize stability and drainage. It says a thick midden on the slope of Mound B also appears to have been deposited rapidly, evidence of a major flood, and that may have contributed to this site being abandoned. The site today appears to be mainly forgotten here on the Tensaw River. I notice there is a path down here, maybe an entrance into this used by archaeologists, but mainly today, forgotten, lost history. Maybe if I talk about this, it won't be such lost history. That at least is my goal. I know this isn't the most popular thing, just looking at trees from overhead, but there is a history. This area of the world, right down here where the Mississippi flows into the Gulf, this whole region down here is full of ancient ruins. Here is a look at the Mound sites down here in just southern Louisiana. So this will give you an idea, just one state, but a lot of Mound sites down here. I have a long way to go in this series. That's why I make these videos constantly. We have sites like Watson Break that go back over 5,000 years. Sites like Poverty Point that are dated to maybe 3,500 years ago. But the true history here, I think we are only beginning to learn. Hope you thought that was interesting, and you all have a very safe day.